that way. Really fast. Leo's Legion, three down bros here. Roland, Arthur, and Greg here to discuss your beloved, or dare I say, bewildered, beleaguered BC Lions coming out of a bye week, losing shutout to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 25-0 to fall to 5-3. My high level thought, I don't know if I have any thoughts other than questions. You had an extra week, you had time to prepare, time to heal up. How does one receiver, not naming any names, almost single-handedly outperform the high-flying, best receiving core in the league? Arthur?
Yeah, my high level thought was I think Vernon Adams Jr. Had a really bad day at the office. I saw a lot of indecision. I am still a big VA booster from 2 years ago when he came in mid-season. So I think he just had a bad day, a lot of indecision after that interception. Started to second guess himself. Didn't move the ball quicker, and the O-line didn't do him any favors. Maybe the receivers didn't do him any favors as well. But that's my high-level thought. What do you think, Roland?
Yeah, in terms of thoughts, I mean, first, emotion-wise, I'm so upset. Like we could have won that game, but you talked about VA. The offense as a whole let us down. Yes, VA does shoulder a lot of that responsibility, but I think the coaches and the offensive play calls had a lot to do with it as well. So really upset. I thought we'll start off with some quotes from around the web, around the internet, on what people thought. So let's take a look at this. Blue Bombers 25, Lions 0. Seasons of ups and downs. This is rock bottom. Stunned CFL world. Shout out BC Lions. Defensive masterclass to shout out the Lions.
Ouch.
Yeah. The BC Lions lose their dignity.
Oh.
Bombers hit halfway mark in historic style. Pathetic loss. That's what we got. We said. 8 straight quarters of deteriorating play. Inability to get stand back. A severe case of hubris. 4 first downs. Lowest ever in any game franchise. Do we miss Gatoy? Definitely missing Schlager. Not even sure BC could beat Edmonton next week. Nathan, now.
No. Is that you, Arthur?
Time for McSimic to stop trying to paint a Rembrandt and go paint by numbers. So lots of pretty,
Wow.
pretty statements there. But I agree with all of them. So welcome, people. If you're online with us, glad that you can join us. Let us know your thoughts. You can always type it in the chat. We'd love to banter with you. Anything we say, if you agree or disagree, just put your thoughts in. And we're gonna show you this. We put together some kind of high-level points on what we wanted to talk about tonight. If any one of you out there want to add something to this, just put it on the chat, and I'll add it onto this list. And these are basically kind of the outline of what we want to talk about today. So first thing is more intensity. Greg, that was yours. Kick us off with your thoughts there. More intensity.
Well, yeah, my key to the game was set a tone early. And you know what? I've been one that been nagging on special teams from the get-go since the Rick Campbell era started. And you know what? Teams coverage was beyond satisfying for me. I mean, they came out and they hit hard, and they punished the Winnipeg returner. They shed the blocks. And you know what? Yeah, they had the odd illegal blocking call, but I don't know. That seems par for the course, and I've just let that go. But I was quite happy with the tone special team started, and I was quite happy with the tone the D started. But man, when you let that D stay on the field for what was it, 7/8 of the game? What, all of 8 minutes was our Lions' offensive time on the field? That intensity disappeared quite quickly, and I think the offense forgot to come to Winnipeg with the team. And those are a bunch of imposters wearing those numbers because they were no show and no go in the intensity department, in the execution department, in the prep department, everything.
Yeah, for sure. Arthur, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I echo Greg, and like I think the teams, the special teams, and the defense. I think and the defense has played their hearts out. Honestly, giving up only one touchdown. I mean, they did. It was a bend no break, so they let Winnipeg march down the field and give up all those field goals. But only giving up one touchdown, and then on the offense wasn't helping really at all. So, my heart goes out to the defensive players. Offensively, yeah, we have to dive into them more, but they need. I mean, I think it was just breakdowns on like different components of the offense, including the coaches and the play calling for sure. So yeah, I don't. They just I mean, they need to adjust better.
Yeah.
On the offense, but.
I mean, the offense, I think the intensity starts with the O-line, right? I think our O-line was
definitely.
And someone in the mouth.
Yeah, we were beaten so many times. One of the things we have two changes, right? We got a new guy in center, and then the center moved to left guard.
Yep.
You guys think that was a factor in our O-line kind of, performing the way they did?
The pass protection was weak at times. At times they ran the ball okay, but wasn't outstanding. But it was a common, like it was like one part of the offense breaks down at almost every play, and including play calling. So I think blame goes around the whole offense. But that definitely had a massive role. I think that switch.
But we did comment while we were, before I forget, I'd like to just shout out to Mr. Doman and the entire Lions facility staff. That was a great watch party that we were part of on that Thursday. Too bad the outcome wasn't better. But we did comment during that time that, VA was getting some decent time in the beginning to pass. It wasn't like he was under siege like he was in the Calgary game. He had decent time. We're like, what? Find your check down. Like, what's going on? I mean, he had 3-4 seconds most of the time to throw in the beginning of the game when we could have set the tone. We started with the ball, decent gain on first down, and then whatever was called into his helmet. We don't know. But he had time.
Eventually, the Lions abandoned the run, and then Winnipeg knew it. So they say, okay, well, we're just going to rush the quarterback now. We're like, you're not going to run. And especially if they got down two plus scores, they're pinning their ears back and going after VA, right?
They were getting to us with 3 rushers.
Oh, that hurt.
Right? Yes. Three guys on the line against our 5, and they still get to VA.
Yeah. It's not good.
So you're right. All around there's a lot of blame, but I think the O-line has a huge share of it. Because the O-line helps dictate whether VA gets into a groove or not. He never got into a groove the whole game because he was always having pressure, right?
I would say those throws that he missed, like put in the wrong spot, if his typical VA would have hit on those throws, we have a different game.
Yeah.
Like he just, apart from one, didn't get any of those good throws in. And I don't know, like, it's tough to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, Roland, you're right. I mean, the O-line didn't do him any favors. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think Andrew Pearson, who was at the watch party with us, was pretty upset, right? I mean,
upset's a good word.
that's his crew, right? The O-line. If you're joining us on online right now, feel free to type in the chat. Let us know your thoughts. Feel free to banter with us, whether you agree, disagree. If you want to add any other points that we have listed here on things that we could have done better, let us know, and we'll add it to this list, and we'll get to it. So intensity. We had a bye week. They got 5 days. Winnipeg had 5 days. We had a bye week, and how many times has this burned us? Where the too much rest kind of lulls us instead of keeps us sharp, right? So I don't know if it.
In a
But
way that it was weird because I think the prior game was it on a Sunday, so they kind of had less than like a full buy because I think their day one was Sunday, and no excuses, right?
yeah,
I mean, because you played Sunday and then you had what 4 or 5 days off, and your day one was Sunday. So typically, if you would have say played like a Saturday and then you played 2 Saturdays from now, you would have had a few more days off.
yeah,
And then
exactly.
like maybe they were still in that break mode.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Well, careful what you wish for, because I mean, I remember last year, like, oh my gosh, if only we get a bye week taking on Winnipeg instead of going in there on a short week. Let's show them what we can do. Yeah, well, I screwed that one up, didn't I?
yes.
I
And
mean, well, I can't take responsibility for that, but I mean, so much for flipping the coin. But anyway,
yeah, there's something about maintaining intensity as opposed to letting it
Mm-hmm.
taking a rest. We got
yeah,
a
like
comment.
that extra bye going into the playoffs. But yeah, there's a comment there.
Comment from Todd Silva. Lions don't know how to run the ball. There's no fake misdirection or flow. Just give the ball to stand back and hope for yardage. Yeah. So let's go to the second point. Run the ball more. Exactly. I think I agree with you, Todd. For this game especially, it's just give him the ball and run down the center. It's not working. We see the other teams when they run the ball. They've got a lot more creativity, right? They're going outside. They're having the running back go out and then passing the ball a short pass and then having him run from there. Yeah. What do you guys think? Let's start with Arthur.
I think the run offense needs a little bit more creativity. Exactly what Todd indicated. You need to fake a sweep or do a jet sweep, like with one of the receivers. Like right now is like it looks like first down. The Lions are setting up to run the ball, and it's just stand back there, and then it's going to be like inside zone run. All right, so what did the Bombers do? They they plug the holes. So I don't know. They need more creativity. Show something different, right? Like fake something out. I think last year they were doing more misdirection. Like they had at that point Lucky kind of cutting through, right? And I think Lucky did get one like from Winnipeg that way.
Yeah.
Just kind of a cut
He
through. But yeah, it just seemed like, well, hey, we got Stanback. He's a big rough and tumble back, so we're just gonna do the power game. But it lacks creativity, I think.
And we're not using him. Like we had 11 runs for 43 yards.
But
like
a lot of them were when the game was out of hand, right?
Like we upgraded from Mizell, which we're also happy with this year, and we're not using him. Like we're so one-dimensional. That's why I'm so upset. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Well, when we were watching that game, all we heard were the TSN guys saying how creative the Bombers were, how creative Buck Pierce was. Masterful game plan, misdirection. They send guys this way, they run up the middle. They send guys this way, they run to the outside. And they weren't great runs. I mean, they got maybe 4 or 5 yards, but then all that misdirection, the Lions didn't know what to key on. It was a balanced enough attack to keep the Lions defense off balance. Now, I'm going to call out Mr. McSimic a little bit here. They keep saying he's the next creative genius or whatever the labels are giving him is. Well, I can't remember what comment that was from the internet out there, the social media world. But yeah, he's trying to paint a Rembrandt, but if he paints out of the lines, he can't adjust. We talked about that after the game. His creativity and all that misdirection that they were calling him a genius for were absolutely not there. Yeah, you got a big bruising back like Stanback, but keep the creativity and the misdirection and utilize that big bruisingness, if I can use that as a word, right? If you got misdirection and he's going to get those yak yards, great. But if all the other team knows you're coming up the middle, fine. We'll put Mr. Big Hill there with 4 other people and just wait. And that masterful offensive game plan actually complemented whatever defense they were running to keep that line offense off the field or defended when they were on. So both facets of those sides of the ball from Winnipeg was that masterful defensive plan. And yeah, Jordy Mack, figure it out.
Yeah. So JG adds, I think we were also outcoached and outclassed. To completely agree. That's one of our points in the slide. Rick Campbell didn't make the right decisions. From the trick play on 3rd and 5, they would have had a better chance just by going for it. Yeah, completely agree. One of the things that I mentioned to Arthur as we were heading back from the game we started off the year. I mean, other than the first loss to Toronto, we were doing really well, and Maximic had some good schemes that got the teams, our opponents off balance. But then as they started to figure us out, we don't know how to adjust. I mean, look at the game, right? By the end of the first quarter, we should have made adjustments. We didn't. By the end of the second quarter, going into the half, we should have made adjustments, and we didn't. Like, we were just doing the same things all over, in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, and what do you expect? We ended up with a 0, right? So, yeah, definitely outcoached, outclassed, no ability to adjust. That's Winnipeg. Like when we lost to Calgary, a close game the week before, Winnipeg saw what Calgary did, and they did a lot of the same things to us. During the bye, we were, the last episode, we said, hopefully we would learn what Calgary did and we could get better. We didn't. Because they did a lot of similar things that Calgary did to us, and it still got to us. They rushed three.
What the Lions players say? They said it was a good scheme that Winnipeg ran. It was a really good scheme. It was a really good scheme. I guess whatever like Winnipeg's defensive scheme was. Yeah. I mean, like what you said, and echo what you said, Roland. It's a lot. They took a lot of what Calgary did and they implemented. And maybe BC was like, oh, the first time we were in Winnipeg, we just roasted you guys, burned you on your cover 0 blitzes, and BC and Vernon loves throw deep.
Yeah.
And then those weren't there. Like,
yeah.
They were just
what
didn't
did they do?
Blitz as much.
Yeah, they did what Calgary did. They rushed 3 and had 9 in coverage and got no one open. So eventually the 3 got through, and then Adams got sacked, right? And JG adds, also missed a huge challenge and left VA too long to get injured. Yeah, we all knew that. Like by the time we got to the third quarter and they were still doing the same thing. I don't know why VA didn't run too. He used to be able to. Like we know he can. And Greg, you're the one who's talking to VA senior, right? And he's always saying VA needs to run, and didn't really run this game. And
so that huge challenge was that Wilson pass that ended the third quarter.
Yes,
and then it was a trap. And like Milt Siegel's tweeting out right away, it's not a catch. But like the Lions have about 30 seconds to signal a challenge. So like that's something that one of the assistant coaches or whoever their video people have to say, okay, that doesn't look like a catch.
Exactly. Because the other teams can do it. The other teams have, that's enough time for them to make the call and radio it in, right?
Mm-hmm. And VA for too long. Yeah, we were talking about when does Jake go in, because you might as well. VA's not getting anything done, and Greg was saying deer in headlights.
Yep.
And he looked confused. He didn't after VA threw that first interception, you knew he's trying. Like VA is consciously not trying to throw interceptions this year, but it's to the peril of his offense, because now he's second guessing, he's double clutching, he's not sure. Once he gets, I think he's fairly confident, but once he gives up that first interception, he just wanted to be like a 3, 4, 5 interception day. So he's double clutching. He's kind of, I'm not sure. It's too tight of a window. With before, he's firing into those tight windows. But after a first interception, he's like, uh-oh. And he's not on. Like, we see he's not on. I think himself knows he's not on. So get him out. Or run the ball. Like Roland kept saying, why isn't JM, Jordan Masimic, doing these high percentage pass plays? When your quarterback is not on to go downfield, why don't you bail him out? Like Roland and I were bantering. Like, why don't you bail him out? Do these 2-3 yard passes, get him in some kind of groove. And so that was those are just kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely right. Sorry, Greg. I was just going to add what Arthur said. It's the coach's job when he sees that his quarterback is not in a groove to get him into a groove, right? So he's not getting enough time to throw downfield. Too many people in coverage. He's not in the groove. Get him into a groove. Get a few first downs. String a few first downs together. Short high percentage plays. Get him confident, and then we can win the game. I mean, that's the coach's job, and we didn't do that. Q-Man says rushing 3 with a spy late blitzer. Okay, yeah, you're right,
Yep,
Q-Man. So
yep, yep.
he's I guess talking about why didn't VA run? Yeah, for sure.
And that's what Calgary does as well. They have Cam Judge doing that spy,
Yeah,
and then Big Hill was doing it for the Bombers. But yeah,
yeah. Sorry,
Well,
Greg, I cut you off. Go ahead.
It's okay. I was going to say earlier, like the comment I made, like not only did the defense, do their part, but the offense taking chunks of time out of the quarter, leaving the Lions barely, leaving the Lions getting cold on the sideline. Well, maybe we talked about it in the offseason, Roland. The Lions' inability to deal with adversity. Well, I'm going to add to that. Maybe, and I'm going to call him out again. Jordan Maksimic, maybe he's still not mature enough, dare I say immature, to handle being patient and going to those high percentage passes that you guys talk about, stringing together, smaller chunks of yards that those playmakers gain the yardage and get the quarterback into a groove. But maybe because the offense have been sitting on the sideline so long, not only VA, but the offensive coordinator are now impatient. We got to get it all back at once, and just had it in their head. They were impatient. They were in a hurry, and they figured. I'm sure it was Arthur. They're believing a little bit of the press clippings. Hatcher's back. Oh my gosh! Now we're going to be even that much more invincible. Yeah. And oh my gosh, it's not working. Now they can't deal with it. It's that lack of ability to adjust and deal with that adversity that I think led to some impatience and just the stubbornness to continue to just go downfield and try to get everything back in a hurry.
Yeah, I think it's more stubbornness than impatience, because if you look at the score, they were only getting field goals, so there's no need to rush, right? With field goals, we don't need to get huge yards, right? So, oops, I don't know why this keeps coming up. Let me just close that there.
Roland, that's just like pouring salt in a wound. All those headlines.
I know. These are our talking points today. So we get to get the ball out faster. So again, you guys, if you're online and these are our talking points, you want to add some talking points here, just let us know. We'll add it to this list. We're not out to get the ball out faster. So this goes to VA. I guess we'll start with you, Arthur.
So they did a little bit more in the fourth quarter. Again, a little too late, right? I saw one hitch screen to Hatcher, got 4 yards, right? Okay, then 2nd and 6, drop back, go for a ball that's kind of deep, or they got sacked. It wasn't a quick shot. Like 2nd and 6, okay, come on. You gotta, like, you're not in a groove. You haven't really hit anything downfield, and then he gets sacked or he went deep. Like, you gotta get like 2 seconds. If your O-line is giving you inconsistent pass protection, then you got to get the ball out quick. Yeah. Quick slant, another quick hitch, right? But no. And then I remember that they did a kind of a double fake screen, and it hit Sandback, but he juggled it or popped the ball up. By the time he caught it again, tacklers upon him, and he got a couple of yards, but he probably might have got the first down. Again, blame goes all around on the offense, but I mean, they did try to make some of those plays, but I think it was a little, too late. They could have done it much earlier.
Yeah.
With the inconsistent pass protection they were getting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we got a comment from JG. Special teams returns in a game where the defense is already gassed. I've rarely seen Terry Williams make it past the 40. They kept deciding to return the ball instead of taking it on the 40. Special teams. Okay, well, let's go with Greg. Greg, this is your favorite topic.
This is you, Greg.
I think JG stands for justifies Greg. JG's comment justifies every comment I made about Scary Terry. Scary Terry ain't scary because he's going to break one. Scary Terry is scary because you never know if you're going to cough up the ball or cost you field position. I don't care what the stats say right now. It is like pounding your head against a cement wall watching him return the ball into a crowd every single time. He doesn't flip the field. The return, I don't know if it's coaching, his inability, or maybe a combination of everything. Just take the ball on the 40 because you never get it run past there. And but the rule is, I think it's only on field goals that they get that chance, which, hey, they were all field goals in this game. So the Lions, but no, go over the turn and then you get a bad block. Now you're starting inside your 20. And
think
with the way
under
Winnipeg's
under
defense
three.
was, sorry?
Sorry, under 3 minutes to go in the game or in the half, you have to get a kickoff.
Okay, but other than that, it's only
It's
on
on the
kickoff,
40.
only on
You
field
have
goals.
the choice. You have the choice.
So yeah, I'm totally with JG, and I don't know, JG, please chime in and tell me what that stands for. But I'm going with justifies Greg, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, I
Yeah.
mentioned this. I really think our return game is structured on purpose to not try for big plays, but just try for decent returns. Because I don't get the feeling that we're ever trying to get big returns. Like, you know, we're just getting.
Benavides used to be different when he was our special teams coordinator before. We had great returns with Ian
Yeah,
Smart, with Timmy Brown.
that's the sense I get from seeing the way we're returning.
Yeah, I think you're right, because
you
he
know,
knows what he's got.
He's following his blocks right down the middle, or you know, so it's, you know, you get, you know, 10, 15 yards, and you know, the stats are okay. It's not spectacular, but it's okay, and I don't know if maybe they're just happy with that. Todd Silva says 2nd and 6 through a 20 to 30 yard incompletion. Oh yeah.
Just mind-boggling.
Arthur, let's go with you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that happened in a lot of game. Like, you know, like the first play of the game, they go deep, right? In the first half. First play in the second half, they go deep. And, you know, those balls, like, they were like man coverage. And, like, the DB was, like, right beside the guy. Like, you know, I think the first one, they actually hit Berryhill in the helmet, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if it was tipped or not. It was hard to see because we were at the watch party and, you know, we don't have, like, where we're sitting, it's hard to see, but
I don't think it was tipped when I watched the replay.
it just hit the helmet.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. So to me, I get it. You're trying to stretch the field, but they're dropping 8 in coverage. And our receivers weren't getting open for whatever reason. Now, you know, like the Lions love and VA loves to torch a zone defense that isn't like 8 in coverage. Then they have lots of seams. When you float, like when you have 8 in coverage, or you do, say, press man with with a cover 2 behind, they're probably double teaming their best 2 receivers. That kind of both of them kind of shut down the Lions a bit, right? So especially lately, and it's mind-boggling. You know, 2nd and 6, you got pretty much a full playbook to use. Yeah. And you shouldn't have to go downfield.
That's the play calling, right? Trying to go for the big yards. Now, I don't know how much of that was that the primary call, or
yeah, we don't know.
Yeah,
maybe VA says, "Oh, I see the check down. I see 10 yards. Oh, someone's open. I can get it." He's been doing it all year, kind of. He missed some throws in Calgary, but he got some throws in Calgary. But this game, he pretty much missed all but one. Yeah. And, you know, like I told you guys this. And you know, what did Toronto say about the Lions last year? About their offense? They were arrogant. The Lions' offense is arrogant because they can rise above the defense. Although the right defense is called, their superior QB and their superior receivers can still beat you. Even though the scheme the defense has run is kind of matching up to the offensive scheme, they're still trying to beat you with their scheme, the Lion scheme. And eventually, when you keep doing it and it keeps failing, and your stubbornness, first of all, you're confident, then you're overconfident, then you're stubborn. When does it go from stubbornness to arrogance? That's what I'm going to ask you guys. At what point?
8 quarters ago in the Calgary game.
Yeah. I mean, so that's something that they really have to seriously look in the mirror and say, hey, are we stubborn? Are we arrogant?
Yeah. So let me just chime in here. Blake says, hi, boys. Sorry I'm late. Hey, okay, Blake, no worries. Nice to have you here. JG, comment from when we were talking about the returns. Is it a blocking issue or a return issue? I think the blocks. I think the blocks are developing, but Williams, follows his blocks, and he doesn't look for huge openings. He's just trying to go behind, where
very
the
conservative.
Blocking. Very conservative. Yeah.
Mind you, I think he's only fumbled once in the past 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Returning a ball, returning a kick. Now, mind you, he might have 2 or 3 fumbles the next game, and I'm just kind of jinxed him. But I think he just had 1 fumble. So I don't know, like, fumble stats for returners, but I think he's very conservative. It does match Rick Campbell's MO.
Yeah. But going back to what you were saying, Arthur, about, when we were talking about the 2nd and 6 throwing a 20, 30-yard completion, there was a tweet by Dave Wardle just saying, I thought this was really on point, right? And we showed it earlier in the beginning. McSimic should stop trying to paint a Rembrandt and just paint by colors. We're trying to do too much when we just need small gains, right? Small gains to get into the groove. So
Yep, exactly, 100%.
Blake says, who else is a little worried for the next few weeks? Arthur's worried.
I was saying to you guys, we could lose the next 2 games and be in a 4-game losing streak.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very easily, especially if VA is out for 2 games and you're at Edmonton and versus Winnipeg.
Yeah. So
You don't think Winnipeg's licking
Bryce,
their chops now? That's probably the turning point of the season.
I think Bryce might be the one that saves the season for the Lions.
Yeah. Cuman says Dolly Gallus scares me. Blake says, I'm truly interested to see what happens this week. Blake says, I kind of hope it's an open competition, at least for next week. JG says, not much confidence in our backups either. Maybe we can get Mazzoli. That's what Farhan has been tweeting, right? He's saying we should try to trade for Mazzoli.
Yeah, or get an experienced backup. So it could be, well, there's 2 guys out there that are experienced that are like free agents. So I wonder if they pick up one of those guys, or it's been floated. Do they go after McLeod Bethel Thompson? Like, I don't know.
I don't know about MBT.
Yeah, there's a lot of money there. I don't know how it would work.
Yeah.
And then I see Edmonton really wanting to let him go.
Yeah,
they might.
I don't think
they just say, yeah.
Not right now, I think. Blake says, get MBT, and he goes to Edmonton and beats them. Yeah, I don't know if Edmonton's willing to let him go. At least not at this point in the season.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's for Greg. Hindsight is 2020. Should we have kept Lucky Whitehead?
Oh.
I'd take him over Berryhill and Eberhardt. Greg, it's all yours.
What did I
Come
say?
on, Greg.
JG stands for justifies Greg. Right here. I mean, yeah, look, we know why Kenny Lawler torches us. He took it personally getting cut from Winnipeg. Lucky said it wasn't personal. Yes, it was personal. I mean, Lucky bided his time. He didn't say anything bad. He stuck it out on a practice roster. Even Mike O'Shea told him, you're not probably going to get a lot of playing time even if you get up to the main team. He gets up there, and look what he did. Hindsight isn't 2020. I mean, Eberhardt, I'll give Eberhardt. He's that great possession receiver. He's blood and guts. He goes out and gives everything he's got. No pun intended, but puts his heart out there, heart on the line, and he goes and makes those efforts for the catches. Berryhill, NFL pedigree, NFL time, NFL speed, hasn't done anything. Look what you have to look.
He's done some.
He's done some.
Not enough to make me personally forget about Lucky.
Well, no,
Lucky,
but I mean, he hasn't had many. He's not targeted. He's not returning kicks, right?
No, but I mean, put him back there. Maybe he'll make me forget. Well, no, I'm not going to forget Lucky. No, never going to forget Lucky. But I don't know. I'm totally with JG here. But with what's coming up next week, I think it was Blake is interested in seeing what's coming up this coming week. It's not really the quarterback competition I want to see being open. It's the minds and the eyes of the coaching staff. They need to remove their heads from whatever orifice they're in and figure this out. Because, like Arthur said, right now they're bordering on arrogance because they've not changed anything. If they don't change anything now after the last 8 quarters of football that they've played, what's the total amount of points we got? We've been outscored, 49? They lost by 1 point in Calgary, but that was lucky. Oh, yeah. No offense to this guy. They were fortunate to get out of Calgary with a 1-point loss. They played awful. And then we thought, oh, hey, warts were exposed. Well, let's get it all fixed going into a bye. Perfect time for a bye. Well, I guess they didn't see the other set of warts that they forgot that were exposed in Winnipeg. They better figure it out. It doesn't matter what quarterback goes in there. If they don't come up with a game plan, don't matter. We could have, I don't know, Tom Brady quarterbacking this offense. Yes, there's an NFL segue. We could have Tom Brady quarterbacking the Jordan Mack offense. If it's that same plan, we're not going to win. We could easily, like Arthur said, be 0-4 over the next 4. Yeah. We had that prediction, right, guys? What are they going to go over the next 7? Arthur and I said 4-3. I'm a little worried about that prediction now.
Well, I said 6. I said 6-1. I said 6-1. So we got to win. We got to do a clean sweep for the next 6 games for me to get my prediction.
I'm not worried about 4-3 until they lose the second game. But, and if it's the second game is like this against coming Edmonton? Week, then we're in trouble, right? But I mean, let's
Yeah. So Q-Man says Lucky was done here, which is true. VA was stopped throwing to him. Coaching staff had enough. That's true. Yeah.
Which is true.
And VA and the coaching staff have got their heads too far up somewhere, Q-Man, because who did they call in that Ottawa game when they came back? That was Lucky, because that coverage was there and he came through for them. Until Barry Hill does something, sorry, he wasn't done here. Maybe to the fans, maybe to the arrogant coaches, but personally, he was not done here.
Oh, VA's big self-sacrifice here from Blake. VA can have my leg and everything will be fine.
Your leg's too good for VA, Blake. Sorry.
And we gave him Nathan Work's head
and arm.
Head.
Well, I mean, arm. It's debatable who has a better one, but at least
who throws in the tighter windows, Arthur? We've had that. You come on now.
We've seen VA throw some tight windows too.
Yeah, VA can throw tight windows, and VA might have a better deep ball, right? Might have a better deep ball.
Arguable. Okay, yeah. Then I'll go with you need Nathan's head.
Yeah, he needed to get the ball out quickly when things were collapsing, and he needed to make a call when he was gonna bail, gonna run, throw the ball away, and not take the sack. So those were slow decisions in this game, which we've seen him do before, and he needs to be able to kind of shake that off, right? Q-Man says Ford put up 29 last September on us. Can we score 29?
We couldn't even score 25. Never mind 29.
Okay, with Jake Dolagella as our QB, really, that's gonna be tough, right?
It's scary, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like Trey didn't really torch Saskatchewan over in the air. Like one big long bomb, a lot of small passes, and then Leak ran over them. So yeah. Now. The Lions are pretty good against the run. They're third best run defense in the league, statistically. In terms of yards per game. So, I'm maybe they can stop the run, and then Ford can force Ford to pass the ball.
Yeah.
And maybe hopefully the Lions defense can get some turnovers.
Yeah.
And help out Dolagella. It'll be tough for the Lions. I think the Lions can score 20 points, and their defense can hold under 20, then they'll win.
Yeah, if the offense can give the defense some time to rest, so that they're fresh. And what scares me with Ford is that when he starts scrambling, then you never know what happens, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, the last time we played Ford, we were able to keep him scrambling in check. And, I mean, Dolagella did put up 300 plus on us when he was more raw of a rookie than he is now. Remember, we went through that third-string quarterback swoon last year.
Yeah.
The third-string quarterbacks were torching us. He was the first one. And so, I mean, he's had a year more experience. But, again, I don't care who the quarterback is. They need the proper game plan.
Yeah. So Todd Silva says, defend against Trey's reverse pivot, and he won't be nearly as effective. It's a signature move, yeah.
It's the same Russell Wilson reverse pivot, and everyone caught on.
Yep.
Yeah. Q-Man says Ford opens up the running game. Sask had been run defense stats-wise. Oh, I guess they were number one. Right?
They were, defense. I mean, by far number one best run defense. I don't know. It's just the TSM panel guys kept on saying, it's all because of Ford, and but I saw is they stacked the box. And they just got beat. I'm not sure why. Like Saskatchewan just laid an egg. I mean, it's as unlikely. Like the Lions passing offense got like 86 yards, through the air. It's just like Saskatchewan's run defense got run over. I don't know. Like Yeah, Ford's in the backfield, and Leak a lot of times was just running, and he hits the B or C gap, and then he turns up, hits hits a B or C gap, and then turns it to the sideline, and he just outruns everybody.
Yeah.
Because
I
Leak is
mean,
running like he's returning a kick. He hits that first gap, and then the rest is on his own outrunning angles, taking whatever blocks he can, reading what he can, and outrunning the angles. And if I can go back to that Alfred return, that was pretty right down the middle. There was no cutting. That was just straight outrunning the angles, found an opening, and just kept going.
well, he went up and then cut out to the outside.
He cut where? Sorry?
He went up first, about 10, 15 yards, and then he cut out.
Cut out where? Where was that?
To the outside. But you want them to go outside in the beginning. But I'm saying he goes up.
Yeah, but if there's nothing there, just go outside. At least you get positive yardage. I mean, just more than what Terry was doing. But I'm really more inclined to agree with Roland now that he's been told, get what you can, because I don't think they have any confidence in him. And like you said, he's an affordable returner. I think it is what it is.
That is what it is, yeah.
Keyman adds, Ford and run game against our shitty linebacker core. Look out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, statistically, the BC Lions run defense is above average, so we'll see.
Yeah,
right? We'll
but
see.
But I am afraid once they get past the first line, and into the secondary, then it might be tough. Yeah.
Yeah, if you get past level 1, but I think they structure their D line to be run stopping versus, like trying to get a sack. So I think it's their scheme a lot on their D line. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, so Blake says Trey's stats from yesterday: 18 for 22, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. But 90 of those yards, 90 of the 252 were on one throw.
Hey, Blake, I'd have taken 90 yards total offense on Vernon Adams passing after what I saw.
Yeah. So
one of those touchdowns was late in kind of garbage time. He made a nice pass, but that last one.
He's I do like Trey. I mean, I think he's got a lot of potential, and definitely he's the right person for the Edmonton fan base. I mean, the fan base is alive now, right? They've got hope, right? So, JG, predictions on Kotoy this year. Can he take that step up this year when healthy? Yeah, I really like Kotoy. It's too bad that it's too bad that he's hurt. I think if he was in the game, it might have helped. He was a lot of the checkdowns that VA had was on Kotoy, and maybe that would have helped with the game if he was in. But talking about receivers, McInnes, who's like, does he still hold the number 1 stat? I don't even know. He got 0 yards this game. But
that's for sure.
Maybe Tyson Philpott passed him. Maybe.
Yeah, like the number 1 receiver, and
I'm boycotting looking at stats this weekend. Well, except for my fantasy stats, because I beat you 2 guys in fantasy.
Yes. So three targets for 0 yards on this game, McInnes. There's a lot of talk about how with Hatcher back, he took McInnes' spot, and maybe they should have put McInnes back on that spot because they were doing well, all this time, and why make the change now?
So McInnes, so Hatcher went back to boundary halfback, so that means McInnes would be boundary slot. So that means McInnes goes to field slot. I mean, it's not like McInnes always lines up in the boundary slot, okay? And sometimes the ball is in the middle of the field, so it doesn't matter. Like, they rotate, they switch out, right? They'll do a 5 receiver set on one side or whatever, right? So I don't really necessarily buy that because they do move around. They're not too static. But I mean, maybe more of the targets on McInnes were on the boundary side, and now Hatcher's there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was a factor, but I think overall it's there's bigger issues. They should have been able to.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think that's what the TSN guys are trying to come up with, the difference in position, guy in a spot through VA off. Well, if you're a seasoned pro like VA, it shouldn't matter who's in the spot.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the game plan. Yes, VA was guilty for execution, whatever, but it's the game plan.
Yeah. Blake says,
yeah.
don't remind me I had VA as my
Blake,
captain.
I'm with you.
VA, Blake, I did too. I had VA, McInnes, and actually I was all BC, right? I had Mackey, I had Hatcher. This week I only got like 30.6 points.
I thought about putting Trey Ford in as my captain and QB, but I switched him out last minute for you.
Oh, you should have.
Blake, I asked these guys, captain gets you double your points. VA, the way he's been playing, was all three of our captains. How, when it's double points, do you still not get a single point? He didn't even have 1 point at double the value. What was the other point? 0.9
0.2 double value.
Like, come on. Is there even a scoring scale that low? I guess the interception hurt him. And yeah, see, and that's double the values. What is he? 0.1?
Yeah.
If he wasn't our captain, he'd be 0.1?
Yes.
Because he had that interception. No touchdowns and, the passing.
And no yardage, nothing.
Yeah.
I do have a question, though. I want to throw it out there if I could, Ro. There was so many shots during that broadcast that we were watching, showing VA just sitting there like this with that deer in the headlights look, when they were still within 2 or 3 field goals of scoring.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the coordinator? Where's Jason Tucker? Where's the phone? Where's the tablet? Where the hell was Rick Campbell?
I was really upset. Like on the way back, I was telling Arthur, he and the coaches and the play caller, the offensive coordinator, need to be talking, about what they're seeing, because they need to make adjustments. The fact that they were not talking tells me that they were not serious about making any adjustments.
Like, how can you leaving it all up to VA and he was just doing it, going through his head?
How can you make adjustments if you're not communicating about what went wrong, what should have happened and all that?
They won't need to communicate if they think it's going to work.
Yeah. Blake says, too busy getting outcoached.
Amen, Blake.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Out-coordinated, out-figured, everything.
Yeah.
But
except there was one thing they did not get outdone at, that was being out-pathetic, out-no-showed, out-no-go. I don't have any vinegar left. I'm good. I
mean, if we look back at some of the other games this year, it's night and day, right? Like some of the other games this year where everyone was on point. It's like we're unstoppable. And then we had this week's game where it's like, we can't even score a Rouge, right? 0. Yeah, Hamilton.
We were in position to give a boot a Rouge.
Yeah. So yeah, that game against Hamilton, that's right.
That's Hamilton, not Winnipeg.
Yeah.
But I think maybe that game cements the arrogance a little bit. I don't know.
Well, bottom line is Lions are not a good road team. They lose by 1 in Calgary, they lose in Toronto, lose in Winnipeg. They won in Winnipeg, they won in Hamilton, right? So they were 2 and 3 on the road. They're 3 and 0 at home, and they're just not a good road team, for whatever reason. They're just not a good road team, and they're gonna have to, maybe they can win their games at home enough, and scrape a couple of road games to win the West, and then they got a home field advantage all the way to the Grey Cup. But
I wouldn't want to put all my eggs in that basket, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it doesn't look good at this point, but they're just not a good road team. Like parts of their game just aren't there and on the road for whatever reason.
Then that's up to the coaching staff to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be the best, you should be able to win anywhere, anyway, anyhow. I'll put that hockey analogy back. Look what happened when the high-flying Oilers, before their dynasty started, could not figure out how to play the muck and grind style. Once they were able to deal with it, then they were able to win on everyone. Wow,
another hockey analogy in a football podcast, Greg.
Oh, I know. Maybe I'll get some more Vancouver fans that only watch those blue and green people play. I don't know. But unless the Lions figure out how to play other than, this thought just hit my head. Anybody out there can comment on this, and you guys too. Like the Lions need to come up with a way to let the defense rest. When the Lions were firing on all cylinders, they were still a quick strike, big play, quick score team that everybody was marveling about.
Yeah.
How is that still giving your defense rest?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
But
Even say the defense does their job and the other team goes 3 and out, and then you come, boom, you score. Defense
yeah,
goes back
yeah,
out
we
there.
score in one play.
They don't know how to come from behind because then that's where the arrogance comes in. Well, we can score quickly. Well, no, you can't. Not all the time. So
I think like they really miss Matthew Betts as well. Like this, just getting sacks. When the other team is second and 17, 18, right? That makes it's much easier to play defense when you get a sack first down, right? So we're missing quarterback sacks. I know sacks are down in the league, but we're missing that.
Yeah.
What does Blake say here?
Blake
I even like to have quarterback hurries. Never mind just a sack.
But that's just it. The writer's fairy tale is ending. The Bombers had one mediocre game, and I don't have any faith in the Stamp still. Okay, so Blake is saying that we still have a good chance on the West.
Yeah, I mean, the Riders. I mean, Trevor Harris is going to come back, and he's a much better quarterback than Shea Patterson.
Yes.
So, and that defense, they had a bad game. You're going to have a bad game as defense. So, but I rather have that defense than the Lions going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Going back to what Greg said earlier, I said this last year, right? We're trying to be a finesse team when we need to have to also be a down and dirty grit team, right?
Yep.
Because that's we talk about Arthur talked about winning on the road. To win on the road, you got to have that grit. You got to hit them in the mouth. You got to impose your will, and then come the fall when it's raining and snowing, you got to have a run game. Like it's all part of that, and you can't win with a finesse type of team if those are the conditions, right?
Yeah, you can't win with like a deep passing game. When you don't know the wind, aka Calgary, the wind is causing your throws to be overthrown.
Yes.
But you kept throwing them anyway.
You kept throwing them anyways, and you just couldn't connect on really one of them. Well, you connect on some, but you couldn't connect on one more.
Yeah.
But VA just had a bad, like the start of the game. It looked really shaky against Winnipeg. Like just his throws and that, and like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So JG says they need to make adjustments and make sure they peak at the right time in the fall. Yeah, for sure. A lot of adjustments.
CFL, baby.
A lot of adjustments, but we also need to be not one-dimensional. We can't just focus on the big plays, on the finesse throws. We need to have a viable running game. We got the players now. We got Stanback. So that needs to happen. Yeah. Duck says, that was a horrible game from the offense. Hey, Duck, nice to see you.
Hey, Duck.
I don't think this team will win the Grey Cup. I don't think this team will win the Grey Cup after that. One thing I noticed is that once VA gets sacked or intercepted, he gets rattled and starts playing bad.
Duck's right. Then he starts to overthink and not play with instinct, not play with it. He just starts to overthink, worry, and then the wheels fall off quick.
Yeah, and that's
indecisive.
That's because we don't have a running game. Like if he gets rattled like that, and we get back into the groove with a running game, get a few first downs on the ground, that'll give him his confidence back. But the problem is the majority of our play calls are in the air. And then if he gets rattled, then we're done, right? Greg, you got an invitation from Blake. Bills Seahawks with Cole, October 27th. You win.
Oh. we need to talk about that, Blake. We'll talk about that. How do they say that in TV? We'll talk about that off the air.
Okay.
I'd get on that. So that would be Blake, Cole, and the 3 down bros. I would think that would be fun, wouldn't it, guys?
Yeah, let's look into that.
Well, I would have to explain NFL rules to Roland.
I know NFL rules. I just don't like it. That's all. I just have a preference.
Roland's like, how come you can't just do that little punt? Like your second and 20 is do a little punt across the line of scrimmage and land on it. That little free kick. Why isn't NFL doing that?
That's because you're allowed 4 downs for a 6'5" guy to fall forward 3 times to get a first down.
There you go. Yeah.
We'll leave it there. But no, yes. Blake, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite. So it's 9:26. We got let's maybe just another 4 or 5 minutes. Let's looking into this week against Edmonton. What do we need to do? So Q-Man says no Moss Maximic offense has a running game. Okay.
I don't know. Looking at Montreal, they got William Fletcher still. He's doing pretty good over there. Or Walter Fletcher,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
But he's like combo, like he'll do some little passes. But it's good. Yeah, they have a good offense.
Okay, Blake's keys for this week with Edmonton is pray. We need to pray. Okay.
No, I think the 3 down bros, Blake and Cole, need to go into the Lions facility with a 2x4 and slap those coaches upside the head so they figure out, knock some sense into them, some arrogance out of them. Like, I mean, maybe I was saying like Arthur loved the Campbell Football League back in the day, but Hugh Campbell, his guys were able to make the adjustments. Cal Murphy, Don Matthews, Hugh Campbell, they could adjust. Being down 26-0 to Ottawa in the Grey Cup, you come back and you win that thing. They can make adjustments.
Sorry, who was the quarterback?
It was a little guy called Warren Moon.
But guy called Warren Moon.
No, sorry, that Warren Moon can't get him going. They brought in Tommy Wilkinson to get them going in that game.
Okay, well, there you go.
But all I'm saying is they can make adjustments. Hugh, he's got his dad's. I'm not sure what he got of his dad. Not sure. But it wasn't his ability to adjust. It wasn't. I just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And why he doesn't challenge is he scared to lose a timeout? Because really, but anyway, I think we need to really figure out, look at these last 8 quarters and figure out what the defenses did to us and figure out how to beat it.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way. I mean,
other teams have adjusted. Other teams, like Winnipeg's adjusted. They started off really rough. No one knew what was happening, but they're winning games now. Edmonton, has adjusted. Calgary has adjusted. So we can't keep doing the same thing. We got to adjust. It's not a static thing, right? Teams adjust, and then you gotta change. So okay, Arthur, keys to the Edmonton game.
Well, your best have to be your best, right? So the Lions, their best thing is their passing offense. They just have to execute and scheme much better and execution much better. Now it's gonna be tough with De La Gala and Bryce as their quarterbacks, and then their run. They have to take away their run. Like their run defense is third ranked, so they have to shut down the run for Edmonton, and then let the other facets of the game try to match Edmonton's. And then if they do that, they can win, right? Their best attributes have to shine and just minimize, and then to protect their weaknesses. The Lions' big weakness is their secondary and pass coverage. So they just have to protect against that. And honestly, their run game just needs to be more consistent. Yeah. So I mean, those are the keys. Your best attributes have to shine.
All right, awesome. I'll get to you, Greg, but I'll read some comments first. Blake says, Hollins, Hatch, McInnes combined for 250 yards. Lions win 33-26. Oh, I like that. Blake. Duck says they have to run the ball a lot and take pressure off of Dolegala. Yeah, for sure. With a young quarterback, you can't put everything on his shoulders. Even with VA back, we need to run, but all the more with Dolegala. Todd Silva says, I might feel lonely sitting in Commonwealth wearing orange. Oh, Todd, you'll be in Commonwealth. Okay, we'll be watching out for you while we're watching the game.
We'll look for that one orange jersey in all those empty seats.
Oh, I was going to say that, but they might have more with Trey Ford going.
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe if McDavid and Draisaitl strap up and Elks green, they might have more people in the stands.
Yeah. And JG says, this week they need to stick to simple football. Don't think we'll put up 33, but we can win. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Simple football, nothing complicated. Blake says, Todd, go to Section L. Say hi to my friends from the Turf District. All right, let's go to Greg. Your keys to the game, Greg.
Well, I'll go back to those awesome initials, JG, justified, Greg. Hey, we talked about going into the bye this week. Basics. They got to get back to basic football. Blocking, tackling, running. The passing they got figured out, but they got to do those other things. And yes, the secondary, the pass coverage, they got to tackle, and they got to quit playing so soft. They got to play to the line. But you know what? It's my key. If I had to put it down, it doesn't matter who our quarterbacks are. These are the quarterbacks that these wonderful brain trusts have built us with Dolagala and Bryce. They had to know VA could go down, right? That's why you picked who you picked. So they need to be prepared. Prepared. I don't care if it's 27 hours a day of film study. They need to be prepared. Yes, Trey Ford's going to run around like Doug Flutie, play playground football. Just stay in your lanes, play disciplined, and be prepared. Go in there prepared with a good game plan. Keep the offense on the field, keep the defense rested so they can chase after Trey Ford, and we'll be just fine.
Okay, awesome, great, good. I agree completely, Greg. Kuman says apparently the tailgate at Commonwealth is good. So yeah, have fun, Todd.
Tailgates all over the CFL are good, except in BC because of the regulations downtown.
Well, it's not bad. It's expanded. Like this year,
It's getting
expanded.
there. It's getting there. But I'm talking a true tailgate in one of those parking lots would be awesome.
Yeah. So my thoughts. You guys have said it all. The main thing I want to see on top of what you've said is that we gotta get there with intensity. So we're a finesse team, but we need to get there with intensity. We gotta hit hard. We gotta play hard, and just very focused and very intense. You gotta impose your will on Edmonton so that they don't want to play anymore. That's what I want to see.
You got to admit, though, that's one thing about Edmonton. They fought to the end of every game.
Yeah.
And, you were talking about winning ugly on the road, Rob. I was going to jump in there. There was those wins that the Lions eked out, and we thought, finally, they've learned how to win ugly. No, they didn't. But we thought maybe they learned to deal with the adversity and just squeak out a win.
Yeah.
No.
All right. It's 9:30. Thanks, guys, for joining in. I love
see
talking.
everybody.
Yeah, good seeing you. Love talking with you. Hopefully, we'll get a good win this week. So, Todd says Blake met them once. Good people. Maybe having a young QB will force change that is needed. All right. Thanks, guys. If you're catching this show after the live stream, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you as well. All right, everyone. Have a great week. Have a good long weekend. Happy BC Day. Take care. See you next week on Sunday.
Go Lions.
Go Lions.